Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hi, my name is Jagadisha, and I'm from originally Bulgaria, but actually I've moved so much around throughout my life that I have many homes, let's say, and but originally I come from Bulgaria. Currently I live in Bulgaria. However, I spent many years in the UK and other countries, but mainly the UK, where I went to study at the University of Newcastle. And yeah, I'm just gonna share a few things, how I came to Krishna consciousness and how Krishna consciousness changed my life in one way or another. So where to begin? Maybe from the start, how I came to Krishna consciousness. It is a funny story, but I guess everyone's story coming to Krishna consciousness is funny, interesting for them and for other people to hear. So I was in my third year of my education. I was originally studying at the University of Newcastle, England. However, in my third year, I went on exchange studies at the University of McGill, Montreal. This was in Canada. And by that time, to give you some context, by that time I was doing a lot of yoga, mainly physical aspect of yoga, because I always like to keep fit, to keep fit and to exercise. So I was doing lots of yoga, I was going to yoga studios and all that kind of things, just to give you a little bit of context. One day when I was walking on campus, I was rushing somewhere, a lady came to me and offered me a book. I looked at the book and she started explaining about chanting some ancient mantras and about the author of the book and all that. She handed me my first Prabhupada's book, which was Chant and Be Happy. Anyhow, we were talking and she was inviting me to come to her place of worship. Basically, she was inviting me to the temple. And I was in a rush, and I felt like I know all these things because I'm a big yogi. I know this yoga philosophy. Why are you gonna teach me? Basically, that was my internal mood. But anyhow, I listened to her, and at the end she asked me for a donation. I gave her a donation and walked away because I was in a rush and I didn't want to spend much time with her. I was in that mood at that time, and so I carried on to my classes. And I had the intention and desire to go to her place of worship and so on, but I couldn't find the time. Anyhow, fast forward a little bit, maybe a couple of weeks from that occurrence, I was speaking to a friend, a classmate on campus again at the University of McGill, and suddenly I hear this tumultuous sounds coming from somewhere and people shouting and singing, and it happened to be a kirtan Harinam party with some of the local brahmacharis and brahmacharinis. However, I didn't know what it was, so my friend who was local, she said, "Oh, these Hare Krishnas again, making strong like loud voices, I cannot stand them," or something of that sort. And I looked at the Harinam for the first time and I said, well, yeah, externally I said, yeah, oh, sounds very loud indeed. However, internally, like a spontaneous voice came to my mind, and which was saying, wow, I want to be there. I want to be wild like them. But that's all. and it was just a momentary occurrence. And then I moved on with my day and with my conversation. And again, I try in terms of the book that I took after this occurrence with the Harinam, I started trying to read it. I read a little bit about Prabhupada, about the interview between George Harrison and Yoko Ono and John Lennon with Prabhupada. And I try to also read chant the mantra. However, I started to mix up the Maha Mantra, you know, like I was saying, Hare Krishna, Krishna Rama, and I couldn't chant it, and I just didn't throw it literally, but I just put away the book, and I didn't want to deal with it. I was focusing on my yoga and asana practice, you know, like strong big yogi, like I thought of myself, still to a certain extent. Anyhow, fast forward a couple of months, I came back to Newcastle, and my friends from the yoga society that I was part of at that moment invited me to some temple. And I didn't expect to be the ISKCON temple in Newcastle, so they said, oh, do you want to come to the temple? There's like a festival, a kirtan, would you like to join? And I was much more, after yoga class, I was much more open-minded, let's say. And I said, yeah, sure, why not? And so they brought me to the Newcastle ISKCON temple, where I met all of the wonderful devotees at the ISKCON temple at that moment. But my memory of that occurrence was how I entered the temple and the kirtan was going on, and like I felt strange, you know, something unusual for the first time, but I wanted to learn more. That was my internal mood. And then because I was still like to dance, as most of you know me, I like to dance, like the kirtan got really ecstatic, and like 3 mridanga players came to me and started dancing around me, and they didn't let me go out of the circle. So I just I let go of my, you know, preconceived ideas, and I just danced basically. And so this won me, the kirtan, just like, this is it. If I want to party eternally, this is the best party I can be in. And later on they gave me prasada and spoke about the philosophy and so on. And later on, 5 years down the road, I'm initiated and read Prabhupada's books and still keep reading more and more books. So this was the story of how I came to Krishna consciousness, and briefly now I'm just gonna mention how Krishna consciousness changed my life. Well, in many ways, but in most prominent, I guess, it's like I have an adventurous spirit. Usually, I lived in around 6 countries. I've been to Vietnam and India and Canada and Germany, UK, originally from Bulgaria. So when I entered Krishna consciousness, the adventure got even deeper and more exciting, because you can have adventures in the material world and they're all nice and you can have amazing experiences. But the really deep experiences start when we enter within, we start adventuring within. So it's very exciting lifestyle, and changed my perspective on life at all. And this brings me to the second purpose, was to give me some direction in life and like some grounding that I can always take shelter under my practice, my sadhana, and serving the devotees, dancing in kirtan, traveling from temple to temple, helping communities. And yeah, it gave me, it opened many doors, both spiritually and materially. So I'm really grateful, and like I'm trying to do as much as I can daily and more and more. So this was for me, how I came to Krishna consciousness and how Krishna consciousness changed my life. If you like this, please subscribe to ISKCON Newcastle YouTube channel, like, give a comment, and I shall see you next time. Haribo.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.